Keep this 100 with squad, playing at 50 with, and I got nothing for anyone frontin'. It's simple, we stick to the code, yeah.
What's up? It's your boy Wale, intern. I'm saying ain't nobody bigger than the fucking chat. I'm saying, and we out here for a new episode of Talk Show Hit It in the Coast. I'm saying, feeling great, feeling vibrant, feeling useful. You know what I'm saying? Feel like even though it's cold outside, it might have been a little bit snowy, but guess what? You know what I'm gonna say? If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. So, got a guest today. Gonna learn a little bit about somebody being from like American Idol into now. And like, you know me, man, I'm always gonna show Jersey love, man. I feel like Jersey, like, yo, might be top 5 places in the States. And going from there, man, we'll let the guest introduce herself.
What's up? How are you? Thanks for having me.
Doing well.
I'm Antonella.
Antonella.
You definitely started off right complimenting Jersey. I do have to ask it. You said top 5?
Top 5.
There's got to be a reason.
Jersey. Just off of that.
That's the reason?
Yo, so one of my partners from college, he from like Jersey, and he said, y'all rock y'all hips. And he was like showing us videos, and he's like, yo, this nigga right here, he from Irvington. He got like 16 bodies, but he's rocking his hip crazy. So to like us niggas down south, like, this nigga got bodies? But he's like, bro, he like one of the most gangster niggas in the world.
Jersey's different. We're just different. Best way I could say it.
So you consider yourself like a North Jersey or a South Jersey girl?
What a question to start, because it's central and not everyone quite gets that. Thank you for the applause.
Okay, but like for me, like, so, like my family, a lot of my family's from like South Jersey, like,
okay,
Egg Harbor, AC.
That is South Jersey.
So like I got
True
that,
South Jersey.
but at the same time, I was in a white boy frat in college, so I had like a lot of white friends, and I used to get caught up with the white women for like Bricktown, Egypt, like that.
That's where I'm from. Is the town right next to Brick, Point Pleasant.
Okay, yeah. So every time I go,
that's great. Like Point, Brick, like Jersey Shore is where like great people are from. Like good people.
Oh no, 100%.
Like great people are from Jersey. Central Jersey is like super special. Like special. As you know.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So I always enjoy hanging out at the shore and stuff. It was like, oh, it didn't feel like I was up north when I'm at the shore.
It is different. It is a world of its own. And I know like TV shows, you know, aside in the summer, but like there really is something to be said about just like how carefree and like, you know, just how much fun people have at the Jersey Shore. Like there's something to be said for that.
100%. So
vibes always.
Let's talk about American Idol. Like, yo, you won American Idol, like you competed.
Yeah. Season 6.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was such an experience. Such a life experience. Amazing.
Like, was that like your first time, like you really like, all right, I'm singing, or was that like being on American Idol was like, okay, I could take singing serious?
That was definitely, I would say, my entry into the industry where I first was like, whoa, okay. Before that, you know, I'd done music my whole life, but that was my first like big move, and it was amazing.
So how did you get into music?
I started when I was 4 playing violin. That was actually like my first instrument. I didn't start singing until I was a little bit older.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I used to dabble in the violin a little bit. Actually, my
No way.
you know, it's funny. So my one cousin, she's from Hackensack.
Okay.
And she's like a world violinist. Like she always do like she teach violin like in Jersey and New York and stuff like that. So when I was little, watching her play the violin, she like taught me and everything.
That's really cool.
But I ain't never stuck with it.
A lot of people say that with violin. I taught as well a lot. That was like one of my best jobs. Like as a teenager, I was like teaching actually violin, piano, and voice. And it was like one of my favorite jobs ever. I started off just doing it like in the summer, and then I started doing it more full time after I finished college. And like it really carried me like through a few years, like just making good money. And like, I loved my students. I had like, it was just a lot of fun. And I started off teaching like close friends and family, just like your sister. So it's like
My cousin.
or your cousin. Yeah, that's really cool that you were able to learn from your cousin, because violin is not one of those instruments that a lot of people want to really like venture into, but it's
100%. It's like one of the things that people don't know about me. Like, I can play the violin, clarinet, drums, piano, and I can play the trumpet.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
like so
amazing.
most people don't know that about me because
Wow.
I come from like a family full of educators. Like my sister had a PhD, and she's been teaching me for like 40 years. Like I grew up in like a black church, so I learned how to play drums. Like I learned how to play piano by reading notes and stuff. Once you learn how to read notes, you can pretty much kind of play any instrument.
Although the technique for each is so different. That's like really cool. You play so many different instruments. I play 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like how far you made it into American Idol.
Top 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
So being in New York at that time period, making it top 16, America knows you. At one point, like, you got to think about it, yo. You make top 16, like, yo, millions of people cheering for you. How was, like, being out in public at that time period was? You're on national television.
Yeah, it was like so surreal in many ways. Like, not to be like cliche about that, it really was a surreal experience, because I realized later, once I really started like performing for like live audiences more, because there's such a different element of like performing on live TV. Yes, it's very live and it's very real, but there's still like there's an awesome live audience, but the fact that I'm performing to 35 million people is not as tangible as when I really am in a stadium performing to a lot of people. So once I like really realized later, like the way energy just like compounds when that many people are physically in one place at a time,
Wow.
and how like, performing really is, it's superhuman. It's like a superhuman feeling in a way that you actually can, be in the presence of that many people and the energy of so many people who are directing that energy at you, and you got like the whole room is vibing off of each other. It's just such an incredible thing. So to actually ask like what it's like in the public at that time, where it's a similar experience but also still not fully tangible.
Mm-hmm.
Surreal is kind of the best way to explain it.
Did you get to meet like some during that process, and then even after getting eliminated after that? What were some of like the highlights of like people you met because of that experience?
So many. So that's also a hard question to answer, because after
So give me your top 5 people then, top 5 that you met during that experience. That it was like that hit you like, oh shit, like I'm really here because of this, and it got me in these type of rooms.
Okay, I was gonna say like when I did American Idol, or like in life. Like
No, I'm like American Idol. American Idol. It's what you're saying to now, because still from the hype from American Idol, that what got you in those rooms. So everything that stems from American Idol, that got you in those rooms.
it's like I just kind of would have to encompass like all of life at that point,
All right, go ahead.
because like some of the rooms I've ended up in are just where I'm working, you know what I mean? And then I'm, just around people that I'm like, wow, this is, I worked at Stevie Wonder's 65th birthday party.
Oh wow.
And I called my father, like, guess what I'm doing tonight? It was insane. And then he ends up doing an impromptu performance for like 45 minutes.
That's dope.
And I'm working. This is a night on the job, like,
Free concert.
right? And life brought me there, not necessarily because of American Idol, but because now I'm living in LA for 8 years and, working a job at the same time. So the restaurant, the club where I worked, is where Stevie happened to have his 65th birthday, and I was his waiter that night.
Well, that's dope.
Like, that's where life goes sometimes, and it's just surreal sometimes when things like that happened. I even had the chance to tell him, like, every single birthday in my household, we're blasting your song. And that's my dad. And he's my dad's number one favorite artist, right? So to tell my father that, my dad's like, wow, like, that's so special. I feel so connected to him that I got to have that conversation. Like, what a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
That's 100%.
Right?
That's a legend.
Legendary. And there's just being in LA, things like that happen. That's literally just not even a red carpet experience.
Okay.
I'm his waitress. Like, that's
to have that one-on-one encounter.
that's
too.
life, right? It's just so many blessings like that. And
Yeah. So let's address the elephant. How did you end up getting federal charges? You look like, oh, you're this sweet white woman. How did you end up getting these type of charges?
so unexpected for so many people. You know, I 2018, I got arrested and ended up serving a 45-month sentence.
So what did you get caught with or charged with?
It was a large quantity of fentanyl.
Ooh, you was moving that word.
It was really, really bad charges, yeah.
Like, so you say you're Mexican and Italian. So did the mafia, the cartel just like came together in your family and you got
Yo.
caught in the middle of it?
Let me say one thing. My parents raised me so much better than this.
Catholic?
Catholic, yes. This is not a reflection of my upbringing, my environment, in my life. These are my choices. And, you know,
No, like
I own them.
No.
I would never put this on anybody else in my
no,
life.
you know, like I said, there's nothing.
Ever.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, but at the same time too, it's like when you're in this music industry, you see how the rappers are. You know how we glorify this.
It is not cool.
It is. We ain't saying that, but it is glorified.
Yes, it is. I agree with that.
So essentially, if I'm going by street ethics, you took your charges, you took it on chin. You ain't had to snitch on nobody or nothing like that.
I kind of walked into a setup and I just, you know, I'm still not going to, like, what I really, really learned when you use I statements, not, you know, not what anyone else experiences, but when I sit with myself for a long time and, you know, I didn't serve the full 45 months, I served about half of it.
Mm-hmm.
Still a long time to sit with myself. You know, it doesn't matter if somebody else set me up or did, that doesn't matter. Like,
But you was probably
I did what I did and I got where I put myself. So, like, it's
100%.
not, you know.
But we're just saying that in today's culture, how we look at it, you're probably one of the most realest motherfuckers. Nobody can't, like, we can't say, oh, you ain't a real one. In today's society, how we glorify, like, our NBA young boys, our Dirk, how everybody wants to be one of them. And we got, like, innocent looking white girl realer than all of them. And it's kind of like you looking at some of these rappers who talk about certain stuff. She actually lived that. So it's like, dog, we gotta, like, the situation can't really judge. I can't say judge nobody a book by its cover, but it's like, damn.
It was an experience for sure.
So you was in a federal prison. What's probably one of the most craziest things you probably seen behind the wall? Or like what's one of the stories that probably stuck with you? It could be funny or something that stuck with you. Because I got a lot of like family members and friends that's locked up, and they hit me up, and like I say, everybody makes the most of the situation because you're stuck there.
Kind of the only choice you're left with at that point. So what's interesting is, like, I was in what's called an FPC, federal prison camp, and it's literally, I went to the one where Martha Stewart spent her 6 months.
Okay.
The same exact one. So it's in, speaking of the South, I know where you're from, but not exactly your state, but it was in West Virginia. I spent my time.
You know what we say about people from West Virginia?
No.
We say bless their heart.
I learned that there. That's like their big. I learned that. I learned a lot about the South. I had never really been to the South. It's a lot different than being from Jersey. It really is. But
100%.
yeah.
You since then, have you ever like tried to go back visiting the South?
Florida?
Florida's not part of the South.
I don't even know if I've been there since then. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Florida's not part of the South. I just want you to know
Nah,
that.
South wasn't. I had a traumatic experience there. Nothing against the South.
You gotta
Like,
come to the
I
Carolinas.
just had a rough time.
Gotta come to North Carolina, South Carolina.
I've had a great time there before.
Yeah.
Little Beach.
That's where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Coastal Carolina.
Okay.
I'm from Marion.
Is that ECU?
ECU's in North Carolina. I'm from CC.
Okay.
I went to CCU.
Okay.
I say that's the hometown right there.
Nice.
But no, you gotta come out there, head out to Charlotte. I'm saying it's good.
I've been to Charlotte once.
That's where I live at now.
I just haven't. I've only like kind of visited the South, like vacations. Like, no, not Charlotte, Charleston.
Charleston, yeah, Charleston's beautiful.
Sorry, I confused. Yes, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent a whole. It does Texas counts?
Texas is Southwest. So
Yeah, but Texas is like it's also its own thing.
Yeah, it could be in its own country.
It literally could.
So
I think the whole world's population could fit in Texas, possibly. Technically.
they have their own economy, but you don't have like any crazy stories from.
That is the crazy story. Like, speaking of like Texas being its own country, what I learned about Virginia, where I did get arrested, is that it is its own country. Like, there is this thing called a Commonwealth that we learn as children. There's 50 states, but actually 4 of them are this whole different thing called a Commonwealth, where they operate as their own country and their laws are them.
Pennsylvania's one too.
Pennsylvania's one. Massachusetts and Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Virginia. So it's a little different there, the way the laws are treated. I actually got super lucky that my charges went federal because Virginia, the state, the Commonwealth, sorry, not the state, the Commonwealth of Virginia is a lot harsher with sentences. And federal was actually like, at the time I was like, oh my God, the world's ending. Like, what? This is going federal. But it was better. It was nicer facilities. I went where Martha Stewart went. It was easier time. So really kind of just to answer your question from before, a prison camp is not the hardest time where I'm having these crazy stories. I would just more say it's an experience in and of itself of just going and spending time away from your family and missing really important things where you're supposed to be there for people you love.
So what I'm getting from you was your experience and the way the facilities were. It was more rehabilitation compared to how most people speak of prison, as in it's brainwashing.
I will say that it is a very interesting system. There are some parts that are figured out, and there are many that are not. That's as real as I can put it. Like, I did make as best of a situation out of it as I could. Spent the time just kind of like sharpening some skills that I could. Came home to kind of put those skills to work. Drawing, stuff like that, you know.
All right, so since being free, you still can sing and still whatever. So what are your plans? Like, what are your goals now? Like, do you still want to be that singer? You still want to be that artist? What are the things that your plans to do? Like, how are you planning to like do? How you planning to move around?
What I learned, and just about 2 months ago, just made a baby step. Started my LLC.
Nice.
Thank you. Baby step. Literally just a baby step. What I've learned is like, I got myself into a lot of trouble because I was just trying to move too fast.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to do everything right this time and just build it myself. So that's what I really learned a lot is like, you know, I don't really, was just having this conversation outside the door, like building my own team is really like the most important thing. And for anyone wanting to go into any type of entrepreneurship, whether it's artistry or business, like starting a business, it's just that team that you build, you own, and is your own.
Nice.
So I tried to do that the first time, didn't do it perfectly, and learning all along the way. But, got the LLC this time, not doing it the wrong way.
100%. So I want to wrap this first part up by saying, what piece of advice or motivation would you like to give everybody from your experience and what you learned from? What would you like to tell everybody?
I would just say it's not a race. You know, it's if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's facts.
And I know like some of what I'm saying sounds a little cliche, but like I tell a lot of people, I see so many of my friends just pop up on the big screen now, like close friends, like, oh my God, that's my girl. Like, and this whole Netflix series is based on her. Like, this is insane. Or she's right there in Bad Boys too. Like when I see people really, really make it that I was working at restaurants with 10 years ago, it's inspiring. Like it's proof that it was, you know, when you do something and stick to it, it works.
Yeah.
And talent will prevail. Talent and hard work together. So
you know what I believe in
don't
though.
always work.
No, I believe in hard work beat talent when talent don't work.
I believe that wholeheartedly. Hard work will definitely beat talent when talent doesn't work. But that's why that work ethic part of it is so important. So what I really would tell anybody is like, you can literally do anything. Like we are in America. What I've learned so much is basically the difference between like the mindset of abundance and the mindset of scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like thinking that you can't do something or that it's going to be too hard. Yes, it's hard. Like, let's accept reality. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. You know, accept that, break down the process and do it. Like Nike, just do it. Like, we are really so capable of anything we want to do. And to do things like, you know, get yourself arrested or make bad decisions really like sells you short of your own potential. Like the only person who could stop you is you. Yeah. And it's not like, oh, I didn't believe that the first time, but took a harsh reality check to kind of just get right back on track the right way and not make the same mistakes again. And it's not easy. You know, I think anyone with any struggle of their own would tell you it's not. But, you know, really, really just like try to operate from the mindset of abundance. Because when we think that we can't have something and that scarcity mindset is just so dangerous, we're our only enemy.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, this been talk show Hidden in the Coast. It's your boy Wale, intern. Said we'll be back in a second.